Hey there, Andrew Greer here with the Better Tomorrow group, and we're out here doing a 360 video for you to get you guys information and knowledge about flipping houses. And we're at one of the most recent flips that I did with my company, Thomas Stratford Investments, and I'm going to walk you through some of the processes that we did. So this house was in tax default when we acquired it, and you'll see from some of the other lessons we've done what tax default is and how you can work with those. But it was in tax default and it had a lot of physical distress. You can see those photos in the description. We have links to them, but let's talk about what was going on here. First of all, this house did not have this beautiful patio on it, and it did not have an open space. As you look out and around the property, you'll see that there is actually no space for this home from the street, and it's very tight. So what we had to do was create a space for this home up front, and where the homeowner could feel that they had a living space within the home and within their own confines behind the fence. So we built this large 4.5 foot tall fence out front, and then we built a deck out to actually level off the front yard and clean it up. At the same time, as you'll notice in the pictures, the house was actually covered with morning glory, and it covered the entire house. There was a tree here, there's multiple trees located here, and we cleared those off, gave the home a craftsman paint job to bring it back to its original glory, since it is a 1937 Craftsman here in Normal Heights, and cleaned up the whole front of the house. Over here on the other side, if you look down over in this direction, you'll see that we have a new planting area, which used to be boxes, a cat litter box, and multiple Halloween toys. And then of course there's my sign for marketing. So let's go into marketing and how we marketed this property. There's several ways to market properties. The most typical one done by most realtors is doing a listing on the MLS. Well, we don't believe in just doing what everybody else does. So we stepped up and we actually put an Instagram video together for this. We put up Instagram posts. We used Postlets, which is a source that gets you on multiple websites for advertising. And then we do other things to catch people's attention. One might be a 360 video. Another one is using the drone. Unfortunately, we were going to fly the drone for you today, but you can see if you look behind yourselves to the other direction, the tree is blowing because the wind's going, and directly above us, you'll see that we have a power cord. So we didn't want to risk that and risk this 360 camera. So now let's go ahead, head on inside and take a look at the rest of the house. All right, welcome inside. So as I said when we were outside, this is a Craftsman home. It was built in 1937, and we wanted to stick with a lot of those features when we went through the process of remodeling this property. So you'll see that the roof has the original built-in in it still. We stayed with that. We did paint colors that would accent that. We actually kept the front door, and one of the reasons why is because A, it's a real wood front door, and additionally it has the old speakeasy open on it, which is kind of a fun selling point for people. As you go through the property, you'll see that we did the larger baseboards here. We did a 4.5 inch flat baseboard to actually accent off the wood floors, which were refinished for this project. And we came through, and what we did to make sure that this property would be warm and inviting was staged it. Now we brought in some exciting colors to bring in some warmth. See here on this photo. We brought in different chairs, different chest of drawers on the side, different chairs over here. You'll see on this side we have a little wine bottle and a setup for people, so it feels like a real home. Also, we want them to see how this space can be used. So when you lay out the chairs and you lay out the living spaces and you put some color on the walls and give it a little life, people can understand what is going to happen in the property when they move in. Create their vision. Now, it's also important when you're dealing with a property like this, if you're going to sell a Craftsman, that you do keep some of these qualities that are so important to the home to sell it to the Craftsman community. And that would be one big thing, the wood floors and how they were refinished. We made sure they were done appropriately and that we kept the original charm of the home. Now, a home in this area might sell for a certain price per square foot, and someone could look at that and say, oh, if I build a brand new home, I could sell it for that much per square foot. But that's the wrong idea when it comes to properties in an area like this. You need to make sure that you're actually getting the price per square foot for new or for an older home. Older homes in areas like this carry charm and they carry different value to the end consumer. And you're not just gonna get that by building a new home. It doesn't have that charm, it doesn't have that mystique that buyers want. So we wanna make sure when they come in, if we've kept that we're accenting on it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna head over to the kitchen and see how we accented on it over there. All right, let's make our way into the kitchen now. So first we're going through a little dining area that this property had. Very common in the older craftsman homes to have the dining space, the small dining space. This property actually had it opened up before we purchased it. So if you look down on the ground, you'll actually see where it was stitched over before. But we didn't actually do that. It was done before our time. If we'd bought it and it had been that way, we would have done it. But in the kitchen, what we wanted to do is we were working with a small space. So we wanted to make sure that we made it light and bright, which I've said before several times to you when I discuss staging and how to put together your home. So we went with a lamp lighter lantern backsplash, a white quartz countertop, and then white cabinets to match the other colors in the home. Now, what we did here is we actually did an octagonal tile to stay with the era as well. On this side, we have a nice cutting board and rolling table that works for the actual property as a side table, but doesn't cost us as much as a cabinet, but still works. Then in this area, we had what was the range. Now, one thing I've told you guys in the past is that you have to be careful with your properties and plan for them. This property is in a great neighborhood, but it's actually located in an area where you can get to it quite easily if you don't have enough lighting. And we didn't leave the lights up, and a lot of people saw that the home was vacant, so someone came in the middle of the night and actually stole our range. What we've done to correct this now is we've installed a Simply Safe security system which ties into the neighbor's Wi-Fi, who are so gracious to allow us to. Now if somebody comes to the home, I get a notification on my phone immediately. So if there's not a realtor there who's supposed to be showing the home or it's happening at 1 o'clock, we can make sure the police are informed so that way they don't come in. Additionally, we installed a Simply Safe sign to protect the property so people saw it was there, and their system has a light blue light that shines at night, which makes it very obvious to somebody and deters actual theft. So back to what we did here. If you look at the pictures, you'll remember that it had a fridge in it and it was in bad shape. Well, on this property, I decided not to stage the fridge because I thought it would shrink the kitchen. Instead, we'll offer a concession in escrow for a fridge that won't take away the size of the kitchen from somebody. We also stepped up the house and actually put a range in it. Before, it didn't have a range. It actually had just a microwave oven. Now, that was the decision of the previous owner, and it was all set up for it. So all we did was install a new range, clean out the house. We actually came in here, pulled all the flooring up, put down hardy backer, laid it all back down, and made sure it was a nice clean surface so when we put the tile in, it would be smooth. Now, one of the things we do like to do is add some little items to make it feel real. The plants, the soap, the lemons, the towels, all of that is all to make it real, make it so that people feel like they're actually in a home that could be theirs. Additionally, here with the marketing, you'll see that we've had a lot of activity from realtors. So I'm going to take all of these home with me today and I'm going to make some phone calls and find out what their clients are thinking about it. So now let's go on over to the bedroom and check out what that looks like. All right, now we are over in the bedroom, this is a 1-bedroom home. So we really had to accent on what the bedroom had available to the consumer when they came into the property. So over here, we have a couple different things that we wanted to make sure this property showed to the potential buyers. One, we have additional closet space over here, storage shelves that we kept that were built-ins and original. We have the actual closet over here, and then we have another storage pantry, which is located over here. Now, one of the most important things when selling a home is making sure that an individual can feel that they can move into that home and make it their own. One of the ways we do this, as we've discussed a minute ago, was we stage the property. Now, we want to stage it to have some warmth and tell a story and create something for somebody where they feel that they can move into that home, but it's not taken over by the previous person's design. So we have different colors, different contrasts, telling different things. So we have this black art on this wall, which actually brings out a few different colors in the room. We have a mixed color over here of this. Then we have a bed that shows that you can fit a bed in this room with 2 night tables, giving you a full understanding of how the space works and how it's laid out. Now you'll see that we don't put too many things in the room because we don't want to clutter it. Now somebody might clutter their room by having a chest of drawers here. We're not going to do that. We want to keep the space open. Another thing we're going to do is we're actually going to put sheets on the bed, but like we discussed in the other room, in the kitchen when we were there, this house had an issue with somebody coming in and stealing the range. So these sheets are missing. They'll be added again later. But I want to say thank you for joining us today with the Better Tomorrow group on our first 360 video. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough and have a great day. Cheers.